Get ready for some fireworks, people. We got all the A team coming on. All right. Where is Steve? Steve is invisible today. He's practicing. This is not a magic trick session, Steve. Come on screen.
I I just was gonna kind of listen in.
Okay, you listen in. You listen in. It's great to see you, Steve. All right, we got a
Wonderful
small
to
group.
see you too, Sean.
We have got a small group today, but this language of sales is going to be important. So we're going to talk about a couple of things here today. We're going to talk about our state before we get into role play. We're going to talk about the end around that Sandy gave me, a great sales tip. It's called the end around, as that's what I'm labeling it. And then guess what we get to talk about? From my favorite people at the Science of People, we're going to do a lesson on likability, on how we can be likable, and how we can be more likable and be more effective. So let's get started with the state. Now, Crystal, you and I talk about this all the time. Is we both have a morning routine. You know, and if I don't have my morning routine, or I'm not doing my, you'll know because I'm just not as positive. I'm just not as focused, and I'm just not grounded. I'm just flying through the day. Every conversation that you get in, hey, you have control of, and every single conversation starts and ends with your input. All right, you have control of it. So if you're not being the best version of yourself, or you're not feeling it, you're feeling a little bit, like insecure, you got a little negative talk going on, you might have a little bit of a self-esteem, like you're just like, God, I'm just not really feeling ready. You could try to hide it, and guess what? They're going to feel it. They're going to know, because you're going to be shortening your conversations. You're going to be ending with some negative. You're going to want to get out of the conversation early. You're not going to be impactful and positive. So the number one tip for before we get into great conversations, make sure you're good. Make sure you're feeling positive. Say an affirmation. Hey, I am enough. Hey, there's a lot that I got to do today, and I can do it. I got controls. Hey, you know what? I want to go and talk about protein, and maybe I just need to tune up a little bit on the protein. Let me flip that bag over and just, study a couple bullet points, so I'm feeling really confident with this conversation. So let's get into a couple of tactics. And this one came up last night on a call, and it's just genius. And I know that we do it, but I love what Sandy made a comment to a couple of our distributors when we were on a call last night. And he said, the way that he would sell this product, and remember, the goal of us every day is to get people selling product under us. At the end of the day, that's it. Like we want people to have health and wellness. We want people to join our cause. We want people to be like-minded like us. But if they're not buying product, we're going to have some problems paying the bills, and we're not going to get to where we need to go to. And the goal of this call today is to have us go out and get into some great conversations. And I'm going to challenge you guys to go out and find one influential person in your world with these great conversational tips. So the end around is this, and I put down the end around yet respectful, because it makes it sound like you're going around somebody. At the end of the day, though, we have a no pressure way to talk to people. And Crystal, this is the end around conversation. Crystal, I am so excited to be talking to you. I'm a part of just this incredible cause we're out there doing with this XND 63, and we're building all these great programs for people to be a little better version of themselves. I have so much respect for you, Crystal. Hey, who do you know that would be great to build a business with? Somebody that's into the health and wellness, that wants some side hustle income, wants to get a part of a community of people that are like-minded and are all about health and wellness, wants to take the most amazing products that nobody knows about. Hey, Crystal, can you get me a list of people? Now, what did I just do? Let's just talk about the science of my language. What did I just do? Did I put a sales call on Crystal? No, I'm not asking her, hey, what are your goals? And hey, listen, I want to work with you. Have you ever heard of Xendurance? I really want to get you into this. I've given ourselves a little bit of a barrier. I'm telling her about all these benefits of being part of our program and all the things that I'm looking for in somebody. And I'm asking her, because I said I really respect her and I really like her. Who do you know that's like you, Crystal, that would be awesome to work with, that would be fantastic to be a part of our program, that I can help to build a major business with? Crystal, what am I doing there? What's the vibe that I'm giving off there?
Well, you're pumping me up. You're you're complimenting me.
Yep.
And you also know that people run in similar circles. So it's like eagles soar with eagles.
Yeah, and if I get you pumped up, and if I get you fired up, and you and I are I'm feeding into your energy, and I'm asking you that great question. I respect you so much. Hey, who's like you that's in that health and wellness thing? And what Sandy would say is, when he would come in with that asking, who do you know that I need to be talking to? Most of the time, the person's like, well, wait a minute. How about me? That is me. You're right. I love that. Tell me more. What are you doing? Oh, you know what? I don't ever want to be salesy with my friends, but look at this. XND 63 program is a phenomenal movement, mindset, and goal setting. XND products, you see me taking them all the time. I think I've given you a couple of samples. Look at, you could just go buy the product, you become a team member, and I'm looking for people to build with that want to actually, recommend the product and sell it and get into our universe of training and unbelievable product education and all this group of people that are like-minded. Would you want to be part of that team? I mean, I would be honored if you were, or if you're interested. So now I've created a way for us to get into a really positive conversation without that pressure of, oh boy, how do I start this thing? And how awkward is that going to be? It's the end around. Hey, look at, if you could say, hey, they might, and Crystal, you might say, you know what, Sean, I'm going to get you a list of people. And thank you for giving me those compliments. Hey, I'm not interested in getting involved in selling those products. And I know they're great. I've already got something else going on, but I'll get you a couple people. And that's a great conversation. Now you're working into their database. Remember, not every conversation is going to be working out right for us. And not everybody is, we might think they're the best person in the world to get on the team, and they might not be the best person. So they might actually be saying, hey, I'm really not that type of a person, but I appreciate you thinking I am. Let me get you a list of people so we can move forward. Does that make sense? Yeah. Casey, I hope you're kind of listening on that, because these are easy ways for us to get into really positive conversations. Next thing that we want to talk about is likability. And a lot of times we don't think about this, but 3 of the most powerful words in the English language is, hey, Casey, I like you. And I really do. I like you. How great is it when somebody says that to us? Remember when we were in kindergarten and it was so easy, and literally somebody would just come up to you and say, hey, I like you. You want to be friends? And you're like, heck yeah, that's awesome. All right, this is going to be fun. It's so easy when we're young. It's so easy when we're in a situation where like we're looking for a connection with people and we just ask for it. When we get older, we stop doing that. We start getting reserved. We start getting like, well, am I polished up enough? Is this, are they going to like me? I don't even know. Ladies and gentlemen, you can program people to like you. And the way that you do it is you like people. The more you like other people, the more people like you. So let's go through a couple of tips on this. And this is a very simple, soft skill that makes it easier for us to get into impactful relationships. Remember, people like people that are like them and that like them. And it is so easy. And I literally did this the other day. It was funny when I was getting ready for today's call. I'm like, oh my God, I did this last weekend. There's a lady at the tennis club that drives me freaking bonkers. I mean, she's loud. She's mostly at the bar. And every now and then she comes out in the tennis courts and she'll watch games and interject and like yell stuff out. And she's friends with some friends of mine. And so one time she's yelling at me, Sean, get focused. And I'm like, Jesus, please don't even comment on my game right now. Like it's just driving me crazy. And then I run into her as I'm leaving, getting ready to leave. And she's like, oh, man, that was, you were getting close, you're getting better and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I got to turn on the likability. Hey, thanks so much for coming out to root me on. I really, really appreciate that. Tell me, what have you been up to lately? Oh, well, I'm, busy with my kids. Tell me more about that. That's awesome. Oh, your kids, they're back from college? Awesome. I have some commonality there. My daughter just came back, from college. And yeah, it's absolutely, oh yeah, this and that. Hey, listen, I really do appreciate you rooting me on and coming out there, and have a great time with your kids. I know that that's going to be really, really valuable. Have a great day. And you know what? I appreciate you. And then I left. Now, I could have been a little bit like, yeah, whatever, cool, right? And all you're going to do is just cause more and more of a rift. And who knows, this woman might be somebody that's a great contact for me later on down the road. You got to turn on the likability sometimes, even when you don't want to. And believe me, you feel better driving away when you're like, well, at least I left that conversation with grace. Otherwise, she'd stay in my face, And like, you gotta handle it with grace, or they're gonna stay in your face. So even people you don't want to be gracious with, you gotta give that likability. So let's talk about how we have likability. And this is easy for me with all of, I love Crystal, you are the best. So this is easy for me here. Guys, Casey, I really like your haircut. I really do. And you know what? I'm kind of going with the same thing. It's just awesome. Casey, I really respect how you are handling everything with your grandmother's estate. That's not easy. That's really shown. I love your character and what you stand for. I really do. This is phenomenal. Hey, Crystal, I think I've told you a billion times, but I love your vibe. I love being around you. I just feel like we are like-minded people, and I really like you. It's just really fun to be hanging out with you, and I like what you stand for. Steve, I would get to you, but I'm not sure if you're on or not. Steve's jealous now.
I want to know why you like me.
Steve, I absolutely, God, let me just think. I'm just kidding. No, I
think
absolutely
about
love
it for
working
an
with
hour.
Steve.
Get back to me.
I love working with Steve. Steve and I have more fun because I love how we can rip on each other like we're almost like brothers, and we just have a great time together. We also have like-minded goals. We both really like to get up and get to work. And Steve, I appreciate your work ethic. I really like the way that what you stand for about weight loss and health and wellness. You got a system. I like that a lot. So guys, get your likability going. And what's amazing? When you meet strangers, this is twice as impactful. All right. So imagine this. I sit down at a table. I know Steve. I know Crystal. And I just now am being introduced to Casey. Casey doesn't know me. Casey might not know Steve. Crystal, you brought her over. Think about what happens when you start throwing the likability on to somebody that's new to you. This is the gold. Hey, you know what? I like those glasses. Those are really cool. Casey, where'd you get those? Warby Parker. I love shopping there too. That's where I go. That's my go-to. I dig. Those make you, hey, I know you're smart. Those make you look super smart. Okay, now, how does Casey feel that she's in the group? Is she starting to feel a little acceptance? Is she starting to feel a little drawn in? Yes, she is. Oh, you're supposed to nod your head there, guys. Come on, nod your heads. Let's stay focused. So likability builds a bond. And believe me, when you start doing that with strangers, and then we throw in a couple of other tips, we're going to show our likability directly. So if Casey, I meet her at a lunch and I want to work with her, I want to get her engaged. Hey, I like that you care about health and wellness. I like what you ordered. I order the same thing. I am into big salads and a little protein. That's my jam. I'm totally into that. You should come see my garden sometimes. Do you garden? I love the garden. That's what I garden is salads. I just go after that. Huge. That's awesome. Hey, listen, I like you. And you know what, Casey? I'm going to remember you. Have an incredible rest of your day. I am going to remember you. That's a great, now I gave all the likability, and I gave her the biggest compliment that nobody ever says to anybody. You know what? I really enjoyed my time with you, and I'm going to remember you. I got your phone number. Let's stay connected. And I'm going to text you immediately after I get in the car. And I'm going to do that. That's a great conversation. You don't have to talk about XND stuff. You don't have to talk about, oh, Casey, you got an interjection.
I do. I want to say, like, I remember, I'll get emotional, but I remember the exact moment that I met you, actually, when I was at Summit, and you came up to me, and those are like the exact things that you said to me right then and there. You were like, I I like you. I dig what you have going on. Let's stay connected. And like, I remember that conversation. So you saying all those things right now, like it's totally true, because I remember the exact moment. I remember where I was standing when I met Sean Pollard, and he said those things to me. I remember that.
God, you got me a little emotional. I remember it too. Yeah. No, and it means a lot to me. Yeah. No, I appreciate you and I love you, Casey. And yeah, we're gonna be getting connected. It's important, guys. Connecting with human beings is the most important thing that we can do, you know. And when we find people, and you know, I feel that way about Steve Major when we were down in Mexico together, and Casey, I'll never, and Crystal, I'll never forget that morning that you and I connected on, and we were both doing our morning routine, and I told you then I was going to lock arms with you, and Casey, I'm going to lock arms with you, and we're going to do everything together, and this is a lifelong, you know, relationship.
And I don't feel like you were blowing smoke. I want to be like super clear. Like it has never felt like, and it doesn't feel like you're just saying those things just to be likable. You know, like you're truly genuine in your conversations. And I think if we can all do that, like we'll just explode, you know?
Yeah. No, that's it. That's why this stuff's important to me, and people are important to me, you know, and I feel like this is a great tribe right here that I'm very transparent with. And hey, I go through my challenges too, you know, and got to get up and keep going. And sometimes you need people around you that inspire you. Guys all inspire me. And by simply just changing our attitude, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Conversations, you need to change the way you look at them. And you need to tune yourself up on them. You got to become a student of them, because so many people walk away from a conversation thinking they had a great conversation, and the other person's like, God, I hope I don't run into them again. That was so like blah of a conversation. And they had such an ego of just assuming that I want to join forces with them or something like that. So
I have a
how
question.
Yes.
Have you ever messed up and not remembered somebody? Like,
Oh,
I'm almost like, you know, afraid of saying that in the event that I don't remember them.
Listen, I am so dyslexic. I don't know if you guys notice, and sometimes if you see me write emails and things like that. My mom was a school teacher. I was the most insecure kid that you could ever imagine, because I really struggled with reading, spelling. I can't spell at all. I don't see letters and words. When people say I could see that, I can't do that. I had to become a student of studying. My mom taught me. She had a tape recorder, and I'd have to say my spelling words into that on Monday. Then we put them on flashcards, and then we'd have to put them on a whiteboard. And then I became a really good speller, but then I'd forget the words after a little while. I can't remember people. I have the hardest time remembering people's names. So I have to play games with those, or I have to almost give a nickname. I give a lot of nicknames to people because it's easier for me. Because like when I see the person, I can't see their name. I just see. And I get really confused when there's like names in a series. I got a couple of people I'm talking to now that have kind of like names, Marco and Miguel, and I'm just like, oh God, like I'm Daniel. Which one is this? Like, so that's why I just have to throw out, okay, you're going to be T-Dog. You know, all right, let's go. Is that cool with you? And I really struggle with that. So we have to overcompensate for the things that we struggle with. And sometimes I actually will be the one. And I'll say, listen, I really apologize. I want to honor you by remembering your name. And I can't remember your name. I've met a lot of people recently, but I really enjoyed our last conversation. Can you just tell me one more time? And I'm going to remember it this time, you know? You just got to be honest and real with people. I mean, you guys ever want to hear about, I mean, a kid that had a rough time at school. I was that guy that got held back, you know, an extra year just to kind of tune things up and watched his friends go forward. And it was embarrassing and humiliating and all that. So yeah, I've been there, done that on the insecurity standard. And that's why I'm so important. This stuff's so important to me, and you guys are so important to me, is that we have got the ability to, no matter what's going on in our world, we have the ability to set our course and to take action. And on language, I just want you guys to take action with a couple of people today and find those influential people. So how do you show likeness? Okay, because remember, body language is the majority of the conversation. So how do you show likeness when you're talking to somebody? I know we're not getting to the role playing and everything, but that's okay. We're just doing a lesson right now. So if I'm talking to Crystal, the number one thing to show authenticity, to show respect, and to show likeness, eye contact. Okay, so I'm not going to stare at her like freaky style, but I am going to keep the eye contact. Now, is it important to break it every now and then? Yes, because that's weird. If you're just staring at somebody the entire time and there's other things going on, it's okay to break it. But make sure when you're talking, you are looking at them and they can feel that. And they will feel that because you literally have people that, like, and I'm going to show my head here. It should be straight ahead talking to who I'm talking to. And people are, yeah, no, it's really cool. And I'm digging it. And it's great, and then they're looking at this freaking thing is the rudest thing in the world. If you are texting somebody while you're in a conversation with somebody, no one should be talking to you. Okay, that's so rude. Like if I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, just, oh my God, I gotta just text this guy, Charlie, so crazy, blah, 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 and do that. Oh yeah, what were we talking about? Just don't do it. Put the phone away. When you want to have a great conversation, eye contact is important. What's next important? Hands. Never have your hands behind your back. Never have your hands in your pocket. People are like, what? Where? If your hands are behind your back, literally people are like, what are they doing with their hands? And if they're in their pocket, God, are they bored? Are they like, do they need help standing up? Hands, hey, they could be on your hips, forward, leaning into the conversation. Hands can be out in front of you. I mean, I talk to people all the time. I think I told you guys, I was down in Pacific Beach and I was walking my dog, and I literally stopped and watched these strangers talk at this place called the Broken Yoke. And there's an outdoor breakfast place. This young lady, beautiful young lady, I wasn't even listening to the conversation. I was just watching her, which sounds really freaky, and just no one report me or anything. But I couldn't get over how she was using her hands and how she was talking to people and she was passing the conversation. What do you think? And like this, and oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh my God, this is so good. Hey, what do you? And I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, oh my God, she is so good with her hands. Like everybody was engaged in the conversation, and she was the ringleader of it, and she was passing the conversation up. Hey, right there. You know what? That was awesome. I'm like, I wanted to go up to her. It would have been weird, but I'd say, yeah, man, you got great hand language, and so many people forget that creates energy, that creates connection, that helps to dictate the conversation. When you could say, I hear what you said. You know what? Before I say something, what do you think about this? Now they're like, oh my God, they're really digesting what I'm saying. In fact, now they're triggering me to respond to them. The next thing is posture, guys. And on Zoom all the time, I watch people on Zoom all the time. I'm paying attention to them, not stalker style. I'm just watching. If people are like this, that's awesome. Totally fired up. No, right when I get off this call, I'm going to just hammer the phone. I'm going to get you guys. I'm going to bring so many people into it. I know they're not going to do it. They're just telling me what I want to hear. If somebody is, like this, and they're like having to support their head to stay into the conversation, they're not engaged. Hey, the people I'm after are the people like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, got it, yep. The people that lean into it. Think about how you're in a conversation. Now, if somebody is going through a hard time, you're not going to be, oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk to you, but you are going to be leaning forward. Hey, listen, I could tell in your voice something's up. Hey, do I have would you be gracious enough? Would it be okay if I asked you what's going on? You know, you want to be engaged in these conversations. We treat conversations like they're a disruptor in our day. And believe me, I'm on the phone and on Zooms all day long. And you got to be on for every single one. If you're starting to burn out, reschedule, because you don't want to have people having that bad impression of you. So the more that you show likableness, the more you're going to get likableness. And there's been studies that have been shown, and this is actually, I know this to be true because I've done it in my own businesses. Likable people stick around more than talented people, driven people, all these other boxes that you could check. The reason why: likable people are fun and easy to work with. Likable people are agreeable people. They don't shy away from doing more. They don't shy away from that because they are likable. If you go into a conversation saying, I am going to give away a whole bunch of likability, you're going to get likability back into your world. The last thing that I want to confirm is, or go over with you guys, is when we leave a conversation, think of your likable leave of the conversation. I love, Casey, thank you for this conversation, and I'm going to remember you. Leave with something that's different, like, hey, I can't wait to catch up to you. Remember when you guys were in school, and in Southern California, I used to hate whenever we'd get our yearbooks, because every single person would write in my yearbook, Sean, what a great, awesome year, man. I can't wait to see you at the beach this summer. John, what a great year. Can't wait to see you at the beach this summer. John, what a great year. Can't wait to see you at the beach this summer. I'm like, dude, I never see you ever. Like, why did you write that in there? Everyone says, like, hey, I can't wait to connect again. You know, hey, we need to talk. We need to get together. Change the script on that a little and put a compliment in there that the conversation meant something. Casey, I am going to remember this conversation. And you know what? I'm going to steal your one line. Can I steal that one line that you said to me? That meant something to me. You know what? You mean something to me. Great conversation. Does that make sense? Leave it with a compliment. Even if someone tells you to go pound sand, you know what? I like what you stand for, and thank you for being so honest with me. I'm going to remember that. You are a good person to work with, and someday we might work together, and that would be an honor. Have an incredible day. And they're going to walk away going, God, I was kind of a jackass to that person. Just like we thank people for picking up the phone, thank them for the conversation. And then find something that you could leave them with that's a little bit different. Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, anything that we got? All right, guys, the conversations need to be around XND 63. Let's get people involved. I want you to think about something. If people aren't selling product under you, we got a problem. We got to address it. And it's fixable, totally fixable, and it's fun. We're going to get great conversations. I want you to think about the people in your phone. I want you to think about the people that you currently have under you that might not be really driving sales. And let's get into some conversations with them. And let's tell them, look, I care about you. And I want you to have great personal health. And I want you to have some financial health. So what can we do? And what can I do to support you to do more and get better? Hey, if you sell a victory pack, and then you have somebody under you sell a victory pack, or if you have people under you selling victory packs, you're going to get $50 in the bank account. So let's get going, 50 or 60, whatever that is. I don't know the math, but guys, how do we do that? I'm sorry, Steve, did you have a comment?
I think that the victory pack is $90.
$90? Jesus. Yeah. So, and we already worked on all of our language around that. And Casey, I got to get with you the language on the victory pack. We always start at the top, because it's easier to dress down than to dress up. Hey, listen, Casey, it might not be you, but to have the best experience with our company, you're going to want to sample all the products. And really, it's not all the products, but most of the product. You're going to have a good sample of all the products. That way, you're going to really understand everything that we do, and it's going to open up the different populations of people you could sell to. Somebody might turn to you and say, hey, listen, I would appreciate that, but listen, with Christmas, and again, I just had my car just broke down. I can't afford that. Listen, then what's your authentic health goal? What meaning? What do you really want to get out of Xendurance? Is that the, you know what, I heard a great quote today I want to drop to you guys. Is it weight loss? Or I'm sorry, it's not, you don't want to lose the weight. Is it get rid of the weight? because you never want to get it back. It was the guy, the person said, no, I don't want to lose weight because I don't want to find it again. I want to get rid of the weight. And it's out of my, and I forgot how, I'll have to figure that quote out, but it was so funny the way they said it. I'm like, yeah, who wants to lose weight? Because then you're just going to stumble onto it again, you know? So no, then what's your authentic health goal? If it's movement, hey, let's get into the motion box. Hey, your health and wellness, let's get the daily foundation going, you know, and let's get that on auto replenish. And when you're going through XND 63, the one thing you don't want to do is have to be scrambling for product, because I've done it where you run out of product and then you're trying to scramble for it. So let's get that locked in so you don't have to worry about that. All right, guys, we're about 1 minute over. Casey, did you pick up one thing on this call that you could weave into conversations today?
Yeah, the way you end conversations more than just like the closing is just as important as the opening, I guess.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Crystal, what do you got?
I'm taking away the I want to honor you by remembering your name. Can you please remind me one more time? I really like that wording.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve, did you learn anything there? I mean, I know that you got a lot going on, but anything that you picked up?
Hang on here. I think the body language thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like you talked about with hands, if hands are hiding in your pockets, people think you're hiding something. So I think that is a big deal. So, and the way that you have your hands is a big deal too. So like, I'm open, right? I'm open to things versus, you know,
yeah,
like you said, behind your back or in your pockets and stuff like that. So yeah, body language, posture is a huge thing.
And then guys, think about the end around. Think about that. Hey, listen, Casey, I always have had a lot of respect for you. I'm building an incredible program right now, and I'm working with this incredible team. Who do you know that would like to get into the health and wellness world that's like you, is a really driven, compassionate person that I could talk to get on my team? And then they'll probably say, well, how do you get on your team? What about me? I might be interested. Or they might say, oh yeah, no, I got some people. That's great. Hey, good luck to you. Awesome. I appreciate the compliment. All right. Casey, can you stay on this call just for a quick one-on-one for just a little bit? Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to spend a little one-on-one time. I got the lucky ticket with Casey Harden. You guys go have an incredible day, and I will talk to you soon. Daniel, you could drop off, okay?
Copy that.
Just make me host.